We made it, Nuggets Nation. It is officially time for playoff basketball here in the Mile High City. The Denver Nuggets taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves at Ball Arena. We are here in Denver, ready to go for game number 1. Katie Wingy and Scott Hastings, we are hanging out in the Grand Atrium here at Ball Arena. The energy is high. The excitement is at a whole new level for this Denver Nuggets basketball team. How long does it feel like it's been since we've watched the Nuggets play basketball to you?
A million years.
Months.
It's almost like it's training camp again. It feels like it's just been a week, been a good week. Been a good until Friday and you decide to snow. But other than that, it's been a good week. But I will tell you this, come playoff time, and you're seeing it behind us, not going to be a late arriving crowd tonight. 8:30 game, this place is going to be jumping.
It's going to be so great to have playoff basketball back in this building. And
are you nervous at all?
A little, but more excited, like nervous energy.
Well, I mean, you grew up a Timberwolf fan. We could throw that out there.
I did, but I'm no longer.
Okay, thank you. God bless you. No, listen, I grew up as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, so I had to come to Denver. So I understand what I understand what you got to go through.
But this is the first time that we are going to see Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and Aaron Gordon. That core four play real playoff basketball. We've waited for this.
Yeah, and Jamal Murray. Last time we saw Jamal Murray in the postseason was in the bubble.
Well, 1,435 days it's been since he's played a playoff game in this building.
Can you imagine that, though, what he's going through right now? I mean, listen, the playoffs are different. The first game of the year is different, right? Because you're like, I mean, you can't hardly sleep. The day before the first training camp, you can't hardly sleep. Playoffs, you kind of have done it, but I don't know if it's the same thing. I always felt more confident going into the playoffs than I did going into the regular season. And the teams that I was on, that won a championship, dude, there was like no worry at all. I mean, it was business as usual times 10, right?
Nuggets locked up that number 1 seed pretty early. So human nature, I think, and some of them have talked about it this week of like, they're ready for a change. They're ready for playoff basketball. It's easy to kind of, okay, we know we're the number 1 seed, be complacent a little bit, I guess, or bored with success.
Right.
So my question to you, you have a week off. Do you think this Nuggets team will be ready for the jump? Are you expecting a slow start? Like, what are your expectations?
Well, listen, I think it's always tough to turn a switch, right, to flip a switch and all that stuff. That being said, I mean, after they beat the way out of Memphis, went 7.5 games up with the tiebreaker, they shut it down. Well, then all of a sudden Milwaukee came up, and all of a sudden you were like, whoa, oh, there's that team again. And even Philly for about 3.5 quarters, right, the last quarter when the third string came in and just went crazy. You're like, okay, they had moments. Even under man, Golden State came in, they had moments. They showed they could flip that switch. The key, though, is here. Everybody says you got to go through difficult times before you win a championship, and it's kind of true, but here's why. Here's the difficulty for certain players. They don't understand. You've been watching the games. You going to tell me they're more physical? And some guys don't adjust to that. They don't say, wow, this is more physical. And before they do, it's game 3 and they're down 3-0, right? So for Denver, they've got enough experience. I know it's been 1,000 days since Jamal's been there. But, dude, they ain't going to win the first round, let alone the second, third, and the finals, unless they don't come out with a physical mindset. The refs usually let you play a little bit more, and a little bit more each round you go. If they can do that, they can win, because we've seen how good they are.
Yeah. If you guys have questions, Nuggets fans, feel free to put them in the comments. I tweeted at a couple of you asking for questions, so I have some of those that we're going to get to in a little bit. Want to touch on that point just really quick, though, because I had a chance to sit down with Christian Braun earlier this week. Rookie, first playoff experience. I was asking him about kind of his prep coming into this and what the team has been doing all week. And to your point, the vets on this team. I mean, you've got KCP, who has won a championship. You've got DeAndre Jordan, Jeff Green, Ish Smith, vets in this league, and have carried themselves so well. All of them said, and they watched the play-in games together as a team, all of them have said, it's going to be more physical, the effort is going to be higher, and the refs are going to call it looser. Those are the 3 things you need to expect.
And let me throw this out at you. I was thinking, I almost asked Coach Malone this in the pregame presser. Forgot about KCP. But other than KCP, has Christian Braun played in a bigger game than any of the other Nuggets have ever been in?
Maybe.
I mean, if you're talking about a national championship, I'm not sure he hasn't played as a rookie in a bigger game than any of the other guys have ever played in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Jamal and Nikola, got to an NBA Western Conference Finals. So, he's one of those guys I don't worry about.
Yeah, me either.
I mean, he's like you. He's just, go, lights on, boom, and it's like easy peasy.
Solid.
Just do it. Solid.
You know what you're going to get, not trying to do too much.
Here's what I got. But I'm going to tell you what, I still think Peyton Watson, we're going to see him. If not this series, the next.
Well, and if not this game, potentially games later on in the series. I mean, he's a weapon that Coach Malone has in his back pocket. Like, you need some versatility on defense. You need some energy coming off the bench. Throw in Peyton Watson for a couple minutes. See what you get.
See what you get. See. I mean, the kid has shown he's long, which is the new NBA, wants about 6'7", 6'8", and long reach. And in his case, he can play downhill, right? And he's a playmaker. We've seen that even in a couple games played. So, I don't know, man. It's exciting. It's fun. I got caught up a little bit in I didn't ever get concerned, but I was caught up in the.
Can we get to it, please? Can we get there, please?
Please get there to the postseason, because even though it got dicey when they beat Memphis as badly as they did, that was it. And I've been with the Nuggets for a long, long time, and that's the longest stretch I can ever remember. This team was just comfortable coming down. Usually it's like 3 games.
Yep.
Oh, we got the 4th seed. We're going to be okay. Or, oh, we're going to win the Northwest Division. We're okay. And it's like 3 games. I mean, this was like 20 games.
Yep. Okay, we've got some live questions coming in from the YouTube channel, so I want to get some of those. Charles is asking, Christian Braun will get plenty of minutes this game. Do you think that that's true?
I think
define plenty, but...
Listen, the one thing that you're going to play for Michael Malone, toughness and defense. He's going to get better, and he'll evolve even more, I think, as the years goes, as an offensive threat where he can average maybe 14 a game or something like that. But they got a guy named Anthony Edwards over there who's pretty darn good. Who's strong, and if he's taking advantage of some of the size of the other guys, I guarantee you Christian Braun will be on him sometime during this series. And if he has any success, and I'm going to tell you another thing that surprised me with Christian Braun, that dude can rebound for his size. He always seems to be around the rebound. So, yeah, he's going to play. He's going to get plenty of minutes. Now, usually, Katie, if you're averaging 32 during the regular season, you're probably going to play about 36, maybe 37. So it will cut into some of the bench's minutes. But you're going to tell me you think they're going to play Bruce Brown less than they played him in the regular season? I don't think so, right?
Yeah.
And it depends on this series. They're so big. I think Naz Reid being hurt helps Denver a little bit.
McDaniels
so now you can go with a Jeff Green being your 5 more and more. It's an interesting series. I'm unlike a lot of people. I don't like Tim Connelly anymore. I can like him after the series is over. I'll say nice things to him. Right now, I don't like him. And we all know the trades he made in the offseason was to beat the Denver Nuggets. So I don't like him right now.
Well, Coach Malone before this game was asked, has there been any friendly banter because there are so many connections between these two teams, coaching with each other, players playing with each other. Has there been any friendly banter between the two? And Coach Malone just said, no. Dead serious, all business. There has been no friendly banter between these two teams coming up. Okay. Someone else was asking, do you think Jamal Murray is going to be in his bubble form throughout this playoff run?
He'll be in a bubble form, whatever that means. I think the thumb will probably still bother him at times during this postseason. I think he got in. Listen, you can't expect a guy to come out and have like 3 50-point games. I hope he does. I'd be okay if it is. But I think you're seeing a mature, more confident Jamal Murray. And to me, the key for him when he's had the most success is he's not forcing the shots. Every great scorer, you and I didn't have to worry about that. We never took a bad shot because we were never great scorers. Never. But great scorers, to me, are always going to score, and they're always going to have a bad shot or two. But is it 1 or 2, or is it 6 or 7, 7 or 8? And when he can stay away from continuing to trust his teammates, still be Jamal, he's too good. He's going to score. I mean, Mike Conley ain't going to stop. And Mike Conley's a good defender. He's older than you. I mean, that ain't hard, but I mean,
it's like there's a few that are older than me.
Yeah, but I mean, for the NBA standards, I mean, he's been around a long time.
Yep.
You know, so Man, let's go. Can we? What time
I know,
is it?
we're
Can
close.
we,
We're
can
getting
we go?
close. We're getting close. We got 10 minutes left on this Nuggets Live pregame show on YouTube. Thanks for joining us, Nuggets Nation. To the Jamal comment, I just want to temper expectations a little bit because I think it's unfair to ask him to be bubble Jamal Murray.
He even said so that next year he played, right?
Yes. I think we need to maybe stop referring to him as Bubble Murray and just let Jamal Murray be Jamal Murray in this series. Love your comments on how we don't want him to force anything offensively. He's been so great at letting the game come to him as
That's
of
when he's
late.
at his best.
Being a playmaker a little bit, finding his teammates in positions to
Getting
be successful.
6 or 7 rebounds.
Exactly, yeah. Having a great all-around game. We do know that he shines brightest when the lights come on, when the stage is set. So, we'll see. Excited to see him back in playoff basketball because he performs.
I think he's going to be great. They could have used him last year. I'm not sure. I said this on my radio show that I'm not sure that Jamal played last year that they couldn't have beat Golden State. I mean, they played Golden State as good as anybody last year, and they needed another guard that can do stuff. But, listen, Michael's got a chance to do something. He didn't play in last year's postseason.
Yeah.
To me, the postseason before, even though you beat Portland and lost to Phoenix, they tried to beat him up.
Yep.
And has he learned this year, if I'm going to get, people in my chili,
Yep.
I'm going to take the spoon and run it to the cleaner, dishwasher. If someone gets in your chili, you got to take your spoon and put it in the dishwasher, which is the rim.
Love that. Love that.
I'm adding that for the play.
Chris would like to know
That's who we add for the postseason. Right
is the Nuggets X factor?
Me and you. No.
No, they know what they're getting with us.
I just have a feeling, and I go back to Jalen Rose said this when San Antonio won their championship, and they had Duncan and Parker and Ginobili, their big three, and he said they didn't win that championship because of those three, and they need Jamal and Joker and MPJ to be great, but they beat everybody at 4 through 8. So to me, for this postseason, if they're going to win a championship, 4 through 8, every game you're going to see maybe 2 of those guys step up and you go, woo! KCP having that game in Utah at the end of the season, I think it was big. Go 6 for 8 from the 3. He had been struggling. But watch 4 through 8 and watch guys appear, because I think Joker's going to be fine. I think Murray's going to be fine. I think Michael can be fine if he takes that dirty spoon to the dishwasher.
Yes.
He'll be fine. But 4 through 8, can you beat teams up?
I'm excited, particularly in this series, too, to see how Aaron Gordon plays. Because last year, you don't have Jamal, you don't have Michael Porter Jr. There's more of a pressure on Aaron Gordon to perform. And he even said after the postseason, I need to be better. I can't have a postseason like that. Well, now you have a little bit of relief around you. How are the Timberwolves going to defend Jokic? Is Cat going to be on him? Is Gobert going to be on him? Are they going to go even smaller than that? Put somebody different on him? How is Aaron Gordon going to move off of that?
Is Gobert going to cheat off of him?
Exactly.
And can you find him in the loop?
And if it's Rudy Gobert that's guarding AG, can you keep him occupied outside of the paint to keep that open for the Nuggets offense?
Yeah, and if we're honest, listen, he struggled after that game in Orlando when he caught the rib. We had him on the show last week, and he talked about it. He'd take a deep breath and feel like it would come out of place. And so he was dealing like that. And you were telling me that story when you were younger, when you were rollerblading, and you tried to do that fancy turn the corner, and your legs are going like this, and you slipped out and bruised your hip really bad. How you decide you didn't want to do that anymore. But when you get a busted rib, you decide you don't want to really go inside. And I think that affected his game.
Yeah.
Let's hope that's healed. If that's healed, he's another X factor. But again, he's in that, for me, that 4 through 8 group.
Yep. He talked about it and said he feels as healthy as he's felt.
Good.
Post All-Star break. Before All-Star break, he was saying, I would breathe and it would feel like my rib would pop out. Like
he gets
anytime.
back up to 17-point a game, Gordon, watch out.
Yeah, and just roam that dunker spot. Like, own that down low. Dylan Santana wants to know, what's Scott Hastings' playoff high?
Like points?
I would assume so.
Gosh, I don't know. 2 or 4 or 5 maybe? I don't know. I know I hit a 3 once.
Beautiful.
I started a fight once with Bill Walton.
That's bonus
and
points.
Greg Kite.
A for effort.
I didn't like the Celtics. So I started a fight with Walton and Greg Kite.
Love that.
So I, 2. I don't know. That's a good question. I did play in 44 games.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Okay, well, for those of you that are watching on the interwebs, you can look this up and put it in the comments, please. Basketball Reference, Scott Hastings in the playoffs.
That's, I only averaged 2 points a game my career. So
There had to be one playoff high. Okay, we'll let them do that. How do you cover the 2 bigs for Minnesota?
I was talking to Dimps a while ago about this, and I think I would start Gordon on Towns, because the one thing we've watched since he's come back, he hasn't spent a lot of time. He's driven to the paint, but he hasn't really put his back to the paint. Because, I mean, that's an advantage, 7 foot over 6'8", 6'7". So I would start with him, with Gordon out on Towns, out on the perimeter. And if he wants to stay on the perimeter, he might be, A, quick enough to stop the drives, B, quick enough to keep him from catching shots, and C, quick enough to contest threes. So I think they'll start there. You know, that'd be interesting. If Cat wants to play all perimeter tonight, that'd be a good place for Watson to come in once in a while.
Yeah.
Right? So I think they'll start there with him.
Going to give him a lot of different looks. Both Cat and Anthony Edwards, both are going to get a lot of different looks. Rudy Gobert, maybe not as much, but the Ant and Cat are going to be kind of the two main focal points, I think, of who Denver has to really pay attention to. I was told you had 10 points twice.
Oh.
So higher than you thought.
10 points twice. Nice.
One of the comments or the tweets that I got earlier was, what feels different to you this year about this team?
Expectation. There was none, at least by me, last year, because I thought winning 47 games with two of your mainstays out was a phenomenal year. I mean, think about it. It's only 6 games worse than what this year was, right? So 47 games. But there wasn't expectation. Going to Golden State, defending champs where they are. Didn't have a lot of expectations in that series. I was disappointed because I thought they could beat Phoenix that one year. But again, you're doing that without Jamal Murray. So I don't know. I'm not worried. And I'm not like Marlo eating my fingers down to the quick, right? I mean, I still got fingernails. They're still good. I don't know. I honestly, Katie, I want this thing to get going. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like you've got me more fired up than I've been the whole week going.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but
doing
I'm
my
sweating.
job. I'll say
I
this.
did the one swiper today. I mean, come on. I don't want to sweat my shirt out.
I should have warned you. For me, it's this calming belief that this team has had from the beginning of the season, that they can do something special. It's never felt like everybody has been all in on this belief that they can really accomplish something. And this year feels like that's real. The ego not being there with these guys also feels different. Of like, no one really cares how it gets done. They just want to do it.
Yeah. They'll have jitters, though, and you got to survive the jitters in the first game and then settle in. What I'm hoping for, as far as expectation, we've seen teams win big games and they're jumping up and down like it's something. I want them to see a game and they're expecting it.
Yeah. And
you play different when you expect to win, because we're going to go out there, we're going to show you what we got, we're going to hit you in the mouth. And I really think if you could come tonight and Wednesday and just literally punch them in the mouth and say, no, we are the 1 seed. We're tired of people talking trash about us. I could have said the other words since we're on YouTube. Yeah. But we're tired of people talking trash about us. Then you're going to split at least in Minnesota and finish this thing at home in 5. If you punch them in the mouth Monday and Wednesday, this thing goes no longer than 5.
Okay, I was just going to say, we have about a minute left in this YouTube Live. Series prediction.
Well, I think Denver's going to win it. I have to do that. I will say, like I said, if you punch them in the mouth today and Wednesday, it's a 5-game series. If you let them come in and sneak one of these two, it may take you 7 to win this. You may have made it harder on yourself to win this.
Well,
because I don't like Tim Connelly. He set the whole team up like that. I don't know why everybody got to like him right now. I like him in June when I'm in a parade over there.
Nuggets are going to find their way in this series, whether it's 4 games or 7 games. They'll find a way out of it. Thanks for joining us for this first pregame show on the Nuggets YouTube page, Nuggets Nation. It's here. We're doing it. Game 1, Nuggets against the Timberwolves. Join us on Altitude TV right now for Nuggets Courtside.